Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. I've been going through a series of video presentations I'm creating for the PowerPoint slides for the two textbooks for Rankin Technical College's AWD, Application and Web Development program. The class is AWD1000 Web Development Technology. So far I've gone over all 20 chapters. For our Murox HTML5 and CSS3 text, and now I'm over to the second textbook, which is Murox JavaScript and jQuery 3rd edition, and I'm up to Chapter 7, how to work with links, images, and timers. So let's jump right into that. All right. So you can use JavaScript to do a lot of the things that that we talked about in the last book in our HTML5 and CSS3 book. But you can do a lot of other things with it. Not only can you do image swaps and slideshows, but you can set timers, clear timers, one-time timers, set and clear with a set timeout and a clear timeout. You can set timers that go off multiple times with set interval and stop them with clear interval. All right. So here are things that they just give you some examples that here are different elements, input elements, anchor tag elements, button elements that will all have default actions when you click on them. All right. Now, this is the way that we're typically going to do this. And what this does, for example, if we put code like this with a hyperlink, the e.prevent default would say if we click the hyperlink, cancel the default action, which typically would send it to another site. This is the way you do it today for virtually every browser. Older versions of IE, back in IE6 and even older, have to do it this way. So sometimes you put both in. Okay? But virtually everything that you do today should be the newer type. Okay, here's how you can create an image. var image equal new image. Images have properties such as source. We're going to do things like this. Here, as it says, we can preload images. So we're using a for loop in here. So we may have a bunch of images. Let's say we're doing it for a sports team. And we want to create a slideshow. We might have images of all the starting players in action, and we can load those all in at one time. The example that they give in the book is this image swap application. So if you click one of these, any one, these are thumbnail images, you get a bigger image down here. You'll notice this is the one that's been clicked, so we get down here. All right? And you can do that, and when you look at it, what do we have here? Well, this right here, these thumbnails, that's an unordered list. All right? And we put them all in there and we set it up so that if you click on one of those, it'll go into the bigger area that's down here. Now we're telling the list to display inline, which means that rather than it going up and down vertically as it does by default, we want it to go horizontally. All right, and then we've got our actual JavaScript, which goes in there, and for lack of better words, it says, hey, if you click on this one, make that big image go in here. If you click on that one, make that big image go in here. If you click on that one, make that big image go in there. And if you click on that one, make that big image go in there. You can't really put it any plainer than that. You have to work on it and look at it for it to make some sense to you. All right? All right, with timers, occasionally you want a timer to just go off. I equate what you see on your screen right here as back in the day. I know I'm dating myself right here, but when you had the old-fashioned wind-up alarm clock, all right? That alarm clock went off, so you set it for 6 a.m. At 6 o'clock it goes off, you turn it off. So it's a one-time. It's a one-and-done type of thing. But if you woke up and it was 5 to 6, you could turn that timer off. You could set off that alarm clock. Well, then came the advent of things like clock radios. All right, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Here, it says upgrade will start in 5 seconds. So you're giving the user 5 seconds to either cancel or start the upgrade. All right. On the other hand, with the advent of clock radios and really any kind of alarm today, you've got a snooze button on there. So the alarm, you set it for 6, you're still tired, you hit the snooze button instead of turning it off, and about 9 to 10 minutes later, it goes off again. You can usually hit snooze for up to an hour. That's an interval timer that will go off more than one time. Eventually, you'll probably turn it off, and that's clearing that interval. All right? Let's see. This is an FAQ, or a frequently asked questions page. Notice we get the plus signs in there, and you get questions. It doesn't show it. When you click on one of the plus signs, you'll get the answer down here. All right, so you can use JavaScript or jQuery to create one of these. Okay? All right. This is going very fast. Probably this whole presentation will be about 10 minutes. And again, I cannot say this too much to you. This stuff won't make a lot of sense until you're actually doing it. All right, here's a slideshow where, unlike before when we had this, which was an image swap, now it's a regular slideshow where every few seconds the picture will change and another one will come in. You can do this with HTML and JavaScript. You also have your choice. Now, this is where you'd use an interval, a set interval, where you might say every 3 seconds or every 5 seconds, change the slide that's in there. And there you go. All right. We've got a couple rollover applications, and with a rollover, what we're saying in here is you put your mouse in here and the picture turns to something else. You put it back again, and it goes back to what it was originally. That's very popular in things like gyms, GYMS, where you've got a picture of a person who maybe is a little heavier set. Put your mouse on there and you show them what they look like if they lost weight. You bring your mouse back out again and it looks the way it did originally. All right, here's an enhanced slideshow. And what are we doing here? Well, we're allowing the user to pause at any time and then restart at any time. Here's developing a clock application that's got hours, minutes, and seconds. Here is adding to that and actually creating a stopwatch for it. We're going to do a lot of this stuff as we get going. All right. Here's an example of you click the register button and you're not able to actually leave this particular screen until every field has been entered and entered correctly. So it's required. So you need an email. You might want to check that to make sure it's a validly formed email. Here you need something in there. You might want to check to make sure it's a validly formed phone number. You must check a country. All right, that's already okay. And here, you've seen this if you've done anything with accepting services. You typically have to check that. That's it. All right. Now, I did these out of order because I didn't know how much time I would have. So I think I'm going to come back, and I have no idea whether or not I'm going to have time to go through this because this is a very large chapter. Probably will take a couple lectures, but I might do the first one. Okay, so I'll be back with that pretty shortly.